Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've been in the job for less than 2 weeks. And I know people think, well, talk of jack of all trades, master of none. And to some extent, that is true about being a minister. Now, I'm going to apologise today because I'm doing 2 things that I usually never do. One of which is reading out a speech, because I've been best man at too many weddings where they shout reading, reading, and I really believe you get the points in your head and you say them, but you'll excuse me because I'm new to the job. So I went through this with Matt and others who have been here or are here today to make sure I said the right thing. I normally wouldn't. And secondly, I usually always spend most of my life doing Q&As, but today I'm really short of time. But I didn't want to turn this down, although it was really in the diary for my predecessor, because I thought it would look really bad if I didn't. So if you'd bear with me, and I promise the next time it will be like the lions and the Christians in Roman times, you can say anything and ask anything, but just bear with me on this particular occasion. But I'm very grateful to being invited to be the speaker today. And I know I'm in impressive company here, because many of the speakers and guests, and like all politicians, the first thing I do is look down the list of people that are coming to see if I know anybody. Unfortunately, I don't, or maybe fortunately, I don't. But I know the people here working to deliver projects which are clear importance for the government's plans and for the whole country's plans for a secure, affordable, low-carbon energy future. And for me, the only reason I moved from DWP, where I was very happy doing pensions, it took me a long time to learn it, and again, once you know it, you think that, I was in a position of people in the industry to be able to talk properly and informally with them. But I was in business for nearly 30 years. I have a huge respect for Greg Clark, whose views and mine align for many years together. We were in the SDP together in the 80s, and so when I was given the chance to work for Greg, who I believe asked the Prime Minister if I could, I thought I definitely want to do this job. So it's not just some carpet-bagging thing, you do what you're asked and then you move on. I'm too old for that. I didn't go into politics. I didn't stand for Parliament till I was 52. Therefore, I'm doing this because I believe in it. And this, to me, is the most exciting sector to be in. And the subsector of energy that interests me the most is nuclear industry. So I know it's, shall we say, not a job without its challenges, and certainly not an industry without its challenges. But I'm pleased to be part of it with you. And I've asked Tom, when I met him today, just that if we could have a meeting really soon to talk through the main issues. And I'm talking about in the next couple of weeks, not sort of where we'll do it before Christmas and then in the new year. Not that at all. So I'm very keen to learn. But the government's committed to following through on our department's big initiatives, as you know, including the Clean Growth Plan and the industrial strategy. And the nuclear industry certainly has a big part to play in both of those, as we look forward to both expand and decarbonise our economy. As we do so, having a mix of energy sources that's diverse will be a real asset. And you only had to listen, if any of you get Hansard or look on the internet, we had BEIS questions today. And and Greg were in a position of defending Hinkley, the project there. And our main point is it's part of this diverse mix of assets that we have. I know nuclear has played a role in our energy system for the last 60 years, and currently we rely on nuclear energy to provide about 20% of our electricity need. Of course, things which the public don't think about. As long as it's there, when they turn it on, that's all people tend to think about it. But it's our job to make sure that that is the case for centuries to come. And I know over the next decades, many of our existing plants will be coming to the end of their lives, while the demand for low-carbon electricity will surely only increase. That's why new nuclear will have a key role to play in the years ahead, and why there are so many opportunities to be found in this industry. The Conservative Party manifesto pledged to ensure that industry and businesses have access to consistent, cheap and clean power. That's why we want to see a diverse range of sources for Britain's energy production. And I saw, when I was sitting waiting for the panel to finish, the LEP panel, I'm glad I wasn't involved in that regional war that Mary, you negotiated your way through. But I did see somebody's tweet where Somebody had said, well, if it's not in the Conservative Party manifesto, therefore it doesn't exist. And Matt had said, don't read anything into that. And I really couldn't have put it better myself. That's a civil servant that's going to be a politician if he wants to do so. Probably doesn't. Couldn't take the pay cut or the extra hours, I understand. But anyway, it's true, it did not expressly say it in that way. I wouldn't read anything into it because we're very much on the record of what we mean. Diversity of supply means we can take advantage of the best available forms of power while continuing to innovate and improve as we go. Our energy policy will be based on reliable and affordable energy, and the government recognises that new nuclear will have a part to play within this diverse energy mix. In terms of projects, we will certainly hear more from Humphrey of EDF. I know that we're going to, about Hinkley Point C and the excellent progress that's been made since the final investment decision in September. Meanwhile, the department continues to engage both regularly and constructively with NewGen and Horizon on their proposals. I note progress on both of these have been made, for example, with their respective public consultations. Progressing these large-scale developments means our energy future is bright, but that's no reason to rest on our laurels. We recognise the potential of small modular reactors and are keen to see that they work, both as technology and as a business model. They could help us to meet our energy and climate change challenges at a lower cost and create opportunities for new high-value jobs. But in order to successfully deploy SMRs, we know that vendors would need to achieve the cost reductions associated with the SMR business model and deliver energy that's cost competitive with comparable sources. And the right market conditions and regulatory framework must be in place. The SMR competition, launched last year, has helped our knowledge base in several ways. In particular, it's improved our understanding of the range of SMR technologies available, given us an opportunity to consider the claims of vendors about the potential of their designs. It's given industry an opportunity to discuss issues and concerns, including identifying potential barriers, and it's provided valuable insights into the wider conditions industry considers necessary to deliver an SMR into the UK. I believe the government's exploration of the potential of SMR should also be seen within two other contexts. Firstly, our support for wider energy innovation in nuclear and beyond. We've already announced £20 million to be invested to support advanced nuclear fuels, that's the materials they manufacture, advanced reactor design, recycling and reprocessing, and strategic tools in nuclear facilities. I'm very pleased to say we recently awarded £12.5 million in contracts of this investment, under which work has already started, and pleased that a number of leading UK organisations have secured contracts. That includes the National Nuclear Laboratory, AMEC, well, the Foster Wheeler part of AMEC, Fraser Nash, Camel Laird, Nuclear Advanced Manufacturing Research Centre, as well as Brunel and Sheffield universities. And secondly, in context of our industrial strategy, Lord Hutton will also look at the wider role that SMRs will play in industrial strategy as part of the work he's leading on behalf of the nuclear sector. This could mean not just providing affordable clean energy, but further investing in research and innovation and developing skills too. The government's very grateful to all of you in the industry who submitted designs, ideas and wider evidence in response to the competition. I know we've gone beyond the original timetable, and I'm very grateful for your continued patience. As you know, Tom, that's the way government is. But patience, please. But in my new role, I really need to get to grips with this, to consider all the evidence to date, so that I and my colleagues can make robust decisions about the value of these emerging technologies for the UK. So I do ask just to wait a little bit longer while the government finalises its policy in this area. On Euratom, of course, you'll be aware as well as me that last week the government formally entered Brexit negotiations with the European Commission. Given the Euratom Treaty, the nuclear industry will have a special interest in these negotiations. Rest assured that during the election period, while we were all playing in our constituencies, the department's been continuing its work across government on preparations for leaving the Euratom Treaty. We're determined to avoid any interruption to our civil nuclear regime, and we remain absolutely committed to the highest standards of nuclear safety, safeguards and support for the industry. Our aims are clear, and that is that UK's withdrawal from Euratom will in no way diminish our nuclear ambitions, because the nuclear industry remains of key strategic importance to the UK, and government is committed to delivering a world-leading nuclear sector in close collaboration with Euratom and our international counterparts. As announced in the Queen's speech last week, the UK will set up a domestic nuclear safeguards regime in consultation with the ONR, which will enable us to continue to meet international safeguards and nuclear non-proliferation obligations after we leave Euratom. There is a clear common interest between international parties in maintaining close and effective cooperation on nuclear issues, and we are confident that we'll reach the right agreement with our European partners. To this end, we'll also be agreeing a new voluntary offer agreement with the IAEA. This will be supported by the introduction of a domestic nuclear safeguards bill, which will ensure that the ONR can establish an appropriate domestic safeguards regime. Well, the exact arrangements for our safeguards after we leave Euratom is being developed with input from the regulator, industry and international partners being sought. But as I say, we're committed to continuing to meet international standards for nuclear safeguards. Maintaining the continuity of our mutually successful civil nuclear cooperation with Euratom and international partners is also a key priority. We already have bilateral nuclear cooperation agreements in place with several countries, and we expect these to continue. To ensure that civil nuclear trade and cooperation with non-European partners like the US and Canada, Australia and Japan is not disrupted by our exit from Euratom, we're negotiating directly with these partners so that appropriate nuclear cooperation agreements will be in place. And there are other issues of great importance, such as access to skilled workers and continued R&D collaboration, which we are focused on as we seek to establish our new relationship with Europe's nuclear community. But our relationship with international partners is important, as I've said. We're also focusing on creating a strong, supportive economy at home. That's why we're working to deliver a successful and lasting industrial strategy built with and not just for industry. A successful strategy requires competitive and affordable energy costs for both businesses and households. In the January Green Paper, we announced that we would work with a select few industries on early sector deals. The nuclear industry was amongst them. This is in recognition of the UK's expertise across the full nuclear lifestyle and potential for the sector to contribute significantly to the economy in the decades ahead. I promise you this won't be the business as usual packaged up and presented as new. We really do expect innovative ideas for continued success. The sector deal will be industry-led, supported by government putting in place the systems and frameworks involved. And under the leaderships of Lord Hutton and the NIA, the industry has done some excellent work over the last few months, and I know a large team of industry leaders are developing an ambitious approach to ensure continued success and competitiveness in the sector. I've seen some promising ideas in the last couple of weeks which could form the basis of a sector deal, including some focused on cost reduction to ensure competitiveness and value for money, with proposals which will develop real benefits. It's key now that the industry crystallises these into a compelling package to make the deal a reality. These are, after all, deals by definition, so we want to receive an offer we can't refuse. That's what the civil service call a joke, by the way. In terms of... yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll get my joke writer on the job next time. That's me. In terms of next steps, I look forward to the upcoming Nuclear Industry Council meeting planned for July, which I'll be co-chairing with Lord Hutton, where industry leaders will be presenting developments to date. And this will be continued to be worked up over the summer, and we hope to be in a position to set out further progress in the autumn. Well, before I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I want to just say a few words of tribute to John Clark, Chief Executive of the Nuclear Decommissioning Authority, who recently retired after 30 years in the nuclear industry. I'd like to say, John, if you read this or hear of this, I retired once myself, and look what happened. I don't recommend it. Also, to Vincent de Rivas, who we heard last week has decided to step down as Chief Executive of EDF. I congratulate them both on their significant achievements and wish them the best for the future. Well, I think I've touched on the progress industry has made in recent months, as well as highlighting some of the many opportunities available going forward. It's a truly exciting time to be involved in this sector, well, in the energy sector as a whole, and that's why I'm so excited to be in this role. And once again, thank you very much for inviting me, and I do hope I get the opportunity, I know I'll get the opportunity to meet many of you in the future, and I look forward to that. Thank you very much indeed.